Okay, so hey guys, James Russell here, and welcome to another episode of Which Door is Right for You. Now this is the final installment of my 5-part series where I cover Pro Tools, Logic, Cubase, Ableton and Reason. I didn't do them in the right order, but anyway. And this is number 5, this is Reason. Now, a couple of things. The last 2 episodes, or the one with Cubase, I didn't include any screenshots, and I do apologise about that, but when you've got so many DAWs or so many doors on your computer, you end up having to uninstall some. Rest assured, I have had experience with both Reason and with Cubase. I was going to try and show footage, but both of these are not going to have any footage or screenshots, so you're just going to have to give it a go yourself and try an example, or try one of the trials if you want to learn to use it. Yeah, today it's about Reason. So we're going to get into it, and roll the tape. Okay, so Reason. Now Reason's made by Propellerhead, and originally Reason was just a MIDI program. When I first started using it, I think it was Reason 3. It was just a MIDI program, and it emulated hardware, and it was fantastic. This is before Ableton came around. Reason basically was a great little plaything to, if you had a MIDI keyboard, and you could write music. It was done in a very sort of German fashion, and so Propellerhead, it was a great bit of software, especially people liked, hardware emulations, because Reason essentially was just a one-screen laptop DAW that you couldn't record audio in. They had a sampler, they had the Dr. X sampler and the like, but essentially it was just, you had a keyboard and you could write sort of, techno music or maybe a bit of hip-hop or whatever. Kind of dance music. It was kind of like a DAW, but it wasn't fully fledged. Then basically they brought out Record, which was an adjunct that you could buy extra with Reason, and then when Reason 8 came about, they merged it all into one. It became a fully fledged DAW, so to speak, but it was self-contained. Now, with the incarnation of Reason 10, they can use third-party plugins, which is the reason why now I feel it's a contender for the top 5 DAWs and which DAW is right for you. If anyone who doesn't know what third-party plugins are, basically Cubase has got the VST protocol, Logic has got AU components, Pro Tools has got AAX. Plugins essentially are extra little audio programs that other boutique developers can create to give you, whether it's hardware emulations of famous bits of gear, or whether it's something with a bit of functionality. Third-party plugins, in other words, third-party developers, then can actually use the DAW, like Reason or any of these DAWs that I'm reviewing now. All of them have third-party plugins, and they essentially use it as a host. So things like, you might see the screenshot behind me, Nexus 2, bought out by ReFX. That's a third-party plugin and a third-party instrument that you could now use with Reason. Originally, Reason didn't do that for stability, but now they've brought about third-party plugins with the incarnation of Reason 10. So, Reason 10, let's have a talk about some of the pros and cons. Reason 10 is an amazing little program. It was inherently really, really stable. I hope it stays that way. One of the reasons why they didn't do third-party plugins for a long time was because of stability, and Reason also, when it came to their synths and stuff, they basically, like Maelstrom and all the rest of it, when it came to Reason's synths, they always try and have the best presets and make it really conducive to making music. And I got a mate of mine, Dave, big shout out to Dave. He was asking me a little while ago which DAW should he use, and he wants to start making music. And I recommended Reason to him for a couple of reasons. Get it? What a pun. For a couple of reasons. Basically, one, with Reason, Dave's an old schooler, and when I first started making music, I knew him back then, and so he's familiar with old school like S900 samplers or S1000 samplers and old school keyboards and stuff, and Reason kind of does a really nice emulation of that. It's part of the whole fun vibe of Reason. It sort of emulates old school hardware like it's an old rack of gear. So that was one of the reasons. That was one of the points that I said he should use Reason, but also because it's self-contained, it's got everything in it. You can start making music straight away. You plug in a MIDI keyboard, and you can kind of kick off really well, and you can make music really quickly. Plus, it's intuitive, and so many of the presets just work really well. So Reason essentially originally was just a single screen that you had to press tab to flip between two, very similar to Ableton. Well, not similar in the layout, but just the fact that you could swap between screens. It was originally built for, laptop DJing and the like. But Reason does now let you separate out the mix window, which is actually an emulation of an old SSL console. the mix window, and then also the arrangement window, which is also part of the whole rack looking arrangement window. So you've got the rack and you've got the plugins and the like, which is very different compared to most doors. It's kind of an extra thing. That rack and the hardware stuff is kind of Reason's thing. It's what makes them, it sets it apart interface wise. Essentially, the arrangement window and the mix window is what now makes it a fully fledged door. And one of the things I do like about Reason is that it gets you thinking in what I call console mentality. I do a lot of mixing on a console, and there's a lot to be said for having all the channels, EQ, compression on every single channel, and a fader for each, for each line, whatever, and a fader for each whatever channel you're working with. I think that actually really helps you as a mix engineer, and it's one of the reasons why I always recommend people start with a channel strip, like an SSL channel strip, when they first start mixing, because it sort of keeps you in the mentality that you're essentially carving out one frequency over here. Well, then you need to match it over here. So if you say you want the vocal to stick out, then you've got to pull out some frequencies and the guitars and the like. So console mentality is really good, and Reason works for that. It's also got an emulation of the G-Bus compressor, which is the master bus compressor, which is what I use. I mix with SSL. So yeah, look, Reason's a great little, it's a great little program like that. It's got multiple windows. It now can be used across multiple monitors, I believe. You can separate out the mix window and the arrange window. And now it's got third-party plugins. So it's up there, it's contending with the likes of Pro Tools and Logic and all the rest of it. Reason's also, well, let's go into it. Okay, some of the pros. As far as the pros, Reason does. It lets you, the format, the layout means you've got the console mentality, and essentially you've got the arrange window plus the old school hardware gear. The interface is really quite nice. It's great to use. So as far as the interface, ease of use, and you can get up and going straight away. Reason's really good like that. Second pro. It's one of the doors now that has flex time and flex pitch, which means that you've got a vocal tuning program within the door, which I think is really, really smart. And as I said in a couple of previous ones, it's only Pro Tools and Ableton that haven't really caught up with that. You also have, you can record multiple channels. Yeah, the ability to record audio. Reason handles audio pretty well. Flex time and flex pitch works really well. It's a good looking interface, well designed, pretty intuitive. So that's good. Flex pitch and flex time, totally. The presets in Reason are really built for making music. If you're making dance music, or if you're making hip hop, if you're making hip hop, if you're making any kind of urban or electronica, Reason's really, really conducive to making that. It's got a great sampler. Some of the onboard instruments are fantastic. So as far as the pros, there's some pretty big pros, and I definitely would recommend, if anyone who's looking at starting with a DAW, I've got a couple of friends of mine that stick to Reason, and they really love it. And as I said, it's nice, stable, self-contained, and it's a lot of fun to use. Some of the pros: the interface, console mentality, and the fact that it's got separate windows and the like. Two, another big pros, it's got flex time and flex pitch within the program. The other one is its presets and instruments. Because it emulates hardware, it also tries to have really great sound banks as well. The emulation of hardware and stuff means it's not only fun to use, but some of the presets are really well designed for making music straight away, which is fantastic. And the big fourth now, although this is kind of presumed with all the other doors, it does third-party plugins. Now, third-party plugins is massive because it means you can use the likes of Softube, ReFX, even Native Instruments. You can now use all those within Reason, and Reason also has expandable sound banks. So as far as the versatility and the sounds you can get, Reason's fantastic like that. Okay, so quickly, another quick one. Okay, so let's talk about cons. For me, obviously, as far as cons, these are kind of more subjective. So as far as cons, the extra window with the hardware can be a plus and minus, and I know I just put it in the pros as far as the interface, but also it was essentially built for laptop DJing, so it kind of works better with one screen, works well on a laptop. It's not great for multiple monitor setups, but it does work. And also the fact, the way it handles audio. Okay, so some of the cons for Reason. Yeah, look, sometimes that hardware interface can be a little bit clunky, and it sort of takes up 2/3 of the screen and not the full screen, which can be a bit of a pain as far as the resizing and the like. So the interface, as I said, it was a pro. There's also some cons about it. The multi-monitor setup, it can be a little bit clunky if you're trying to do full tilt mixing, but especially if you're writing music, then it's not really that big a deal. Well, Reason actually doesn't have that many cons. Now that it's got third-party plugins and the like, a lot of things that were holding it back essentially not much cons anymore. So just sometimes the interface can be a little bit clunky, which would be one con. Apart from that, the way it works with audio, it's done really quite well. The audio is quite good. Sometimes it can be a little bit fiddly trying to get in to the detail with audio and some of the MIDI, but generally it's all around pretty good. So look, as far as Reason, I haven't really got that many cons. The old one used to be the fact that it didn't work well with third-party plugins and stuff, but now with third-party plugins, it works pretty damn well. So how about that? I haven't really got many cons with Reason. So who's Reason for? Well, especially if you're starting to make music or you've had experience with bits of hardware before, you're new to the game and you want to write some urban sort of electronica music, Reason is definitely for you, and I would definitely consider it. I do like the interface. It's great to work with. It's self-contained. You plug in a keyboard, especially if you've got a Mac, and it works really, really well. So, yeah, Reason's definitely if you're doing sort of urban or electronica music, you want to start out, you want to have a whole pile of sounds to work with. You don't want to be paying extra money for third-party stuff, and you want something that's going to get you kicked off straight away, then Reason is definitely for you. If you're maybe a big-time mix engineer that's working on a console in a big studio, I wouldn't necessarily say Reason's for you, but definitely if you're a music maker and you want to get into, you know, making some music and you want some great sounds at your disposal, then that's the person Reason's for. So there you go, that was the final installment on which door is right for you. I know that was quick and pretty brief. It's a subjective one. I've got to say Reason's improved so much in the last couple of years, that's why I think it's a contender. So definitely go out, they've got a 30-day trial, go out and try it, Reason 10, see what you think. Now it's got third-party plugins, it's, as I said, it's a serious contender as far as a decent DAW. And the one thing I would recommend is go out and try all of these. All of these have trials, all of these you can actually test and see which one works for you. They all have positives and negatives. As far as, you know, if you're being a proper mix engineer and the like, sometimes you've got to lean towards certain things. But if you're a music writer, if you're a creator, especially Reason would be great for you. So that's my little subjective, non-scientific review on which doors are right for you. And yeah, if you liked it, hit the like button, hit subscribe, leave me a comment below. I'm going to try and get this channel tweaked. It's just starting out, so basically I'm looking for any kind of advice, guys, on what you want me to cover and all the rest of it. I've got a plethora of knowledge when it comes to music and everything from acoustics to songwriting to mixing to, you know, recording. So let me know what you think, and yeah, I'd love to make a video that's going to work for you guys. I'm looking to make this channel successful. So hope you enjoyed it. Leave me a comment below, and I'll catch you next time.